Hey YouTube, Future Feer here. I just want to let you guys know the madness will continue with the grand final tomorrow. I wanted to make sure we got this 2v2 pre-major in before the major started. But also, I want to let you guys know we are very close to 80,000 subscribers. And if we want to get to 100,000 before the end of the year and beat the pace we got last year, we're just a few hundred subscribers behind. So if you could subscribe, that would help. Now into the video. Chat, here we go. It's GenG versus BDS in preparation for the major. These guys are in Copenhagen and looking to get a little 2v2 match, a friendly 2v2 match against each other. That's a nice way to warm up and prepare. It is 2 days away. This is Tuesday that the match is happening, and Thursday is when the first games will start. It's Firstkiller and Chronic playing for GenG, and BDS and ExoTiiK playing for... BDS and ExoTiiK. dralii and ExoTiiK playing for BDS. That is our 2v2 squad. I know that Chronic and Firstkiller, I think, have played a good amount of twos before. Chronic was part of the... I'm blanking on the name. Solo queue. The Solo queue tournament, the North American 2v2 Solo queue tournament. Chronic did well in that one. And I think it's an often high-rated twos player. I'm not sure how much dralii and ExoTiiK both get into it. I imagine that dralii is probably a high-rated twos player. A lot of the high-rated ones players are usually somewhere in the realm. As Chronic is going to drop this off for Firstkiller. To get a look at the prediction, chat was begging for a prediction. We'll go make sure and stop it right now. Now that a single goal has went in, someone's going to start dumping all their points on GenG. But even before the goal went in, it was 52% in favor of Firstkiller and Chronic, who think they make a better twos duo than the BDS squad. dralii has figured out his preparation in the boot camp. He unfortunately wasn't able to finish out the madness 1v1s, but he's all settled now as he locks in for the major. Chronic upfield, little pass from ExoTiiK to dralii. Can he get this backboard double? He's going to put it on the back wall, and no continuation from ExoTiiK as Firstkiller deciding to leave this one off for Chronic, and now it's Chronic in a 1v1 situation. dralii touch to the back wall. This should be an easy tap forward to ExoTiiK, and Firstkiller's demo is not going to matter. It'll be BDS who equalize. No comms? I mean, I'm going to assume that the teammates are in comms. We're not going to hear their comms while watching from our spectator slot, as ExoTiiK is going to beat out two here. Wall to air dribble. Takes it to the ceiling. Chronic is stealing challenging as well. He fakes him, goes low, and dashes into the 50 on the goal line. Chronic maybe needing to attack that ball and force ExoTiiK to go high, as you so often hear about. That's the correct way to defend, not just in twos, but in any time. Oh, dralii, he's going to pop off. It's 3 straight for BDS after GenG strike first, and it's a kickoff situation again that dralii is able to score. A little pre-flip reset and a carry over the top of Firstkiller. Chronic never really got involved in the play, so all that mattered was what Firstkiller was able to do, and it was not enough to stop dralii. dralii now up ahead. Chronic has to jump early to dodge the ExoTiiK bump. ExoTiiK ahead of the play, recognizing the best way he could contribute was to take defenders out, but Chronic was 2 steps ahead. So we're into a little bit of midfield play after a couple quick kickoffs. dralii into the ceiling. Chronic, another high challenge, as he's been doing all series long. He needs a pre-flip back to get to this one, and it's not going to help. dralii is still going to have the easy tap in as he floats away. Firstkiller diving in out of the corner, and that 50 was not it. You see Chronic falling down after his challenge. He was not going to have a great recovery. So the dive from Firstkiller had to be a big win, and instead, ExoTiiK able to pinch it out off the wall and into the net. Now, is it going to be a 5th goal? It will. dralii and ExoTiiK running 5 straights as they seem to have this GenG squad figured out. You saw Chronic and Firstkiller both in the same spot off that kickoff. It was, I believe, Chronic who was looking for the 50 near the boost, and Firstkiller rotating back. And now a little bit of kickoff strats from the GenG squad as Chronic fakes. Firstkiller picking up that midfield 100. Not a lot Chronic can do. dralii pre-jumping as he pinches this out to ExoTiiK. ExoTiiK actually almost got the shot too. Both GenG players were in net, and this was obviously a bit of an all-in play to try and find a way to score this. And the fact that it doesn't work out means that Firstkiller will be able to get a goal. It actually didn't seem like dralii had to dive, despite ExoTiiK maybe looking for a pretty risky shot attempt. If dralii didn't turn immediately and try and keep the pressure on, they might have been able to stay alive. Chronic going to break up this pass as dralii tries to leave it off for ExoTiiK. And ExoTiiK gets it past everybody again. It's a retreating save necessary for the GenG squad as Firstkiller is able to make it happen. Chronic against ExoTiiK. The save bounced out to midfield, and both dralii and Firstkiller combined for a shot to head to the back wall. So a minute 30 in this game number 1 for the GenG squad to bring it back. Instead, it's dralii popping off as ExoTiiK sends it to ceiling height. dralii, despite the many touches to the back wall, never getting an opportunity to shoot. Firstkiller trying to kill this and take it out of play, but left it as an opportunity for a shot for BDS. Fortunately, though, they missed wide. ExoTiiK not able to find anything on that dribble, and Firstkiller, who had dralii at midfield, thought if he got a strong first touch, he could get out over the top of them and then likely be in a 2-on-1 situation, but dralii was able to cut it off. So a couple of huge plays from dralii to keep his team in it. ExoTiiK, goal line 50, gets around Firstkiller, but Chronic has returned back to the play. And this probably needs to be a scoring attempt here for GenG. If they want to bring it back, they need this and a few kickoff goals. Chronic looked like he was trying to get bumps on dralii. And now everybody just camping on the goal line. BDS working to create a wall to prevent Chronic from being able to stuff it in. And that defensive stand almost certainly has done it, barring a massive collapse here for BDS. They'll be starting this best of 5 2v2 up 1. I think GenG scored first and last in this match so far, but there was a 5 straight run for BDS, and a lot of it's coming off of kickoffs. So GenG needing to clean that up. We saw some kickoff strats from them later in the game. Something they might need to go to early if they want to stay in game number 2. When did GenG arrive? I'm not sure how long ago GenG arrived. I think they've been there probably for a couple days. Most people have. Yo, thank you for the 100 bits. Subscribe to Feer on YouTube. So true. We're actually close to 80,000 subscribers on YouTube. Game number 2. GenG and BDS. A slight delay from dralii on the kickoff, as it looked like he was trying to win the ball to the right side of the field after having it hit into him. He did sort of that, but GenG, the ones to control it in their back corner. Chronic has Firstkiller in the midfield. Instead, flicks on target, has Firstkiller follow it up. ExoTiiK there to make that save. Now it's ExoTiiK back the other way with the last bit of boost he has. He'll get the ball midfield to dralii, who again does a little back and forth on the back wall without ever being able to turn it into a shot. Chronic the big dunk. And now Firstkiller out of the attacking corner can be hard to work with, especially with the dralii at ceiling height, who looks to take it away. Turtle shot attempt as dralii wanted to fake and go low. A diving save from Firstkiller necessary to prevent ExoTiiK from getting the opening goal. dralii playing high in this game, pre-jumping. Every time he sees an opportunity, it's ExoTiiK who's been playing on that back line. This time dralii being a little bit more passive. He will save Firstkiller's air dribble to the back wall. And no follow-up from ExoTiiK as Chronic challenges the midfield. Firstkiller's back to the ball. It's a little reset double. Firstkiller had already left the play. ExoTiiK now. He was really responsible for a ton of goals in that first game. 5 goals for BDS, and already they've been held scoreless with just over a minute into the game. dralii trying to go for a soft shot. Now Chronic and Firstkiller have to rush back to this ball. ExoTiiK is going to be recovering low, but nobody had boost left over on the team. Just a little reminder, these boost meters over the top of BDS and GenG are actually total team boost meters. So it's both players combined on the team. Get a general idea of how much boost they have. dralii. The resets. Trying to drop it inside that right post. Firstkiller. Another diving save. It's been miracle saves from GenG to be the reason why they are still tied. They're going to have to bring some offense eventually if they want to bring it back. dralii booming this ball way wide of the net off of the pass from ExoTiiK. Now it's Chronic upfield. Not much help from Firstkiller, but actually that clear went straight out to Firstkiller. A demo, he'll get back around the ball, and he will be the first to score in this game. dralii did not mean to pass this one out. As soon as Chronic saw that, he actually bumped ExoTiiK as ExoTiiK chased down the ball, and Firstkiller followed it up with a shot and a demo in order to get the first goal. GenG gonna let this ball roll slowly towards the net off kickoff. That's dralii. He just outplays Firstkiller. I didn't think this was gonna be an opportunity to score. dralii, how much boost was he working with when he power slide cut around this? Enough to outplay both players. Firstkiller not able to cover that distance gained from using that flip late from dralii. And another short-lived GenG lead. GenG had the lead early in game number 1 before BDS were able to equalize. Firstkiller upfield to Chronic. ExoTiiK able to recover and get involved in the play, but that ball could still be awkward, especially if Chronic had succeeded in bumping dralii on the back wall like he was trying to. dralii, I think he's looking at an open net here, but it's going to be late recovering. GenG players, a 50, leaves the ball available for ExoTiiK. Chronic, can he get back to this one? No, it's been GenG who have been stuck on low boosts. Firstkiller trying to dive, and probably not a bad idea. If he had made a connection there, would have been able to clear that out and stopped the extended attack from a couple defenders who were in a tough position, but instead it will be BDS who take the lead again with a minute 30 left to go. ExoTiiK setting up the musty while dralii tried to clean out the net. Credit to Firstkiller. They were able to get that save while dealing with the pressure. Little miscommunication there from BDS. Might lead to an opportunity for GenG as Firstkiller tried to pop it upfield. Chronic couldn't do anything with it. dralii landing down, and it's going to be Chronic recovering who helps Firstkiller on the save. Firstkiller was in a tough spot in that 1v1. But he bought himself enough time by playing passively to allow Chronic to get back. Now Chronic going to challenge early. Firstkiller guides us off the back wall, and dralii cannot stay in the play. So it is a full field clear. It might even be a shot on target. dralii recovers just in time. And now ExoTiiK undercutting Chronic. Such an interesting play as he turns back into the field, staying involved by not allowing Chronic to go to work. Keeping him from getting a clean landing. 25 seconds left to go. Firstkiller got sent back to his back line off the demo, and it's going to be a dunk here from dralii. That likely secures game number 2. Chronic got this ball ripped right off the top of his car, and Firstkiller off the respawn after the demo was creeping up in field. Wanted to be involved in the play. Wasn't expecting Chronic to lose that challenge as much as he did. And I'm actually surprised not to see any sort of kickoff shenanigans from GenG, as they need 2 quick goals. They, in fact, need 2 consecutive kickoff shenanigan goals. Instead, they take it somewhat standard and are forced to play some defense again as this ball will hit the ground here. And, or maybe not, Chronic will keep it up. But either way, it'll be a BDS Game 2 win. GenG going to need a reverse sweep if they want to bring it back against ExoTiiK and dralii. Next time, get closer competition. So like NA versus NA or NA versus Bubble EU. Chat's going crazy today. Chat's going crazy. They're going all in after 2 games. I don't know, man. Hold on. Game number 3. GenG and BDS. It's NA versus EU, so you know chat is going crazy. But I wouldn't call it too soon for the GenG squad, who have a chance to turn around here in the later part of the series. They've gotten the lead early in actually both games. Just haven't been able to hold on to it for the full 5 minutes, and they won't get the lead early this time. It's going to be ExoTiiK who scores first. dralii winning the 50 in the corner. Chronic in deep, and dralii able to get it out past him. So nobody left to stop ExoTiiK from getting it on target. Pick off into the orange half. Chronic looking to be aggressive. Ball actually does fall to Firstkiller, who's working his way infield. Can Chronic get the angle? He does. This was a forbidden angle. I had no faith in him being able to find this with how close this was to the back wall, and especially considering Firstkiller and dralii were still there, but Firstkiller continued the bumps to make sure that dralii had no relevance in the play. And with all the cars out of the picture, Chronic is able to get the angle. Firstkiller, little drop in field to Chronic. Low boost recovery now for him as he looks to grab the corner. Might have left the net open for a moment to see if ExoTiiK was able to hit that double, but it was a risk that Firstkiller was willing to take. No dunk on dralii on the back wall. As dralii the ball off here. Now Firstkiller has Chronic rotating back slightly. A reset. 2 defenders to beat. Can't force it through both. It's Chronic playing passively. Able to break up this dribble from dralii. Not a great clear though. ExoTiiK sending it to the side wall. It is going to be dralii turning back into the play. We've seen him being ultra aggressive for the BDS duo. That's not going to change now. Chronic speedier than ExoTiiK. Has dralii recovering late, but dralii has done well when left alone and is able to stop Firstkiller. ExoTiiK, what a redirection. Credit to Chronic for being able to make that save. Reading the pass and blocking that top right corner. Preventing what would be a goal to put BDS up again, which it does feel like in this position in the match with GenG down 2. They cannot really afford to go down in this game 3. Big fake by Chronic. As the ball leads to Firstkiller at the midfield, dralii has to rush to this one in order to make sure Chronic misses. Which does leave the ball for Firstkiller. We can see dralii trying to get re-involved in the play whenever possible. Just because he gets past the ball doesn't mean he isn't going to try and make something happen, as Chronic has just ExoTiiK left over, and it's no boost for either one of them, it seems. As Chronic is able to catch this ball working off of pads, flicking over the top of a pre-jump in ExoTiiK, who just barely couldn't get his car on the ball. So a 2-1 lead for GenG, and the only time they've led after multiple goals have been scored. Chronic on a big air dribble. 50 with ExoTiiK. Demo on both. Firstkiller takes both of them out. Now can they find a way to convert? Firstkiller tried to pass in field, but dralii respawned on the same side of the ball, able to cut it off and prevent the conversion off the demos. ExoTiiK, he's trying to go crazy here on the back wall, but as tough as it was, wasn't able to find his way through. Now Chronic, clear up field to Firstkiller, who just got a demo. Is he going to try and fall in front of the ball again to get another one? dralii able to make the save through the contact, but still things turning around well for GenG here. Firstkiller, can he get this shot? He actually gets credited with it. There is no save, but it's off target. So a 2-1 lead will remain the scoreline for GenG. ExoTiiK, no boost upfield. Going to go reset on the side 100, but dralii really had full control of the ball. Firstkiller sees an easy opportunity to steal it away. As Chronic turns back, does not want to go all in as their final defender. Firstkiller going to take ExoTiiK out. Now Chronic to the ceiling. Takes the early shot. Actually wasn't on target either way. ExoTiiK able to make that save. Now Firstkiller had the read out of the corner, but it's all of a sudden BDS who are having to make the diving miraculous saves. We saw it as GenG earlier in this series. A little bit of offense for the North Americans as Chronic is floating to make the save off the ceiling. I think he noticed that Firstkiller was going OMG from dralii. I think he should have scored that. That was just about as open a net as he's going to get in this series. But he drops himself the OMG as he misses wide. Now he won't take this one out of the air. Instead, allows it to fall to the ground. Didn't have a ton of boost to work with. It's likely his reasoning behind that. This ball is going to float outside of the GenG net, though, and nobody able to challenge. Chronic was the 1-50. Firstkiller just awkwardly set up. No way to get up to that ball, so he's going to have to try and react on the goal line. That's going to be tough to do against the likes of, I believe it was dralii. ExoTiiK is known to slot as well. This kickoff into the GenG half, trying to prevent a sweep for the BDS squad. Chronic, little pinch off the back wall. Infield pass to dralii, just a little bit behind him. So he's going to have to play this one slow. And it looks like it could hit the ground. No, ExoTiiK is going to decide to keep it up, which is going to favor GenG. Firstkiller won that challenge there on the side wall. But overtime in game number 3. Will either team mix up on the kickoff? Oh, mostly a standard kickoff. Both back players cheating up. And it leads to a BDS possession. ExoTiiK's air dribble intercepted by Firstkiller. As Chronic looks to make something happen on the back wall. dralii breaks that up, and this is all of a sudden on target. ExoTiiK forced to dive and make a save. Chronic got a weird side flip shot as he returned back into the play. dralii pinch around Chronic. ExoTiiK isn't able to handle it as clean as he would have liked because dralii put so much heat on it as he popped it into the ceiling. And now Chronic reset on the air dribble. dralii should be able to make the goal line save. Calm and collected from him. No jump as he catches it partially into the net on the goal line. Chronic can't force his 50 through as Firstkiller will have to pick up where he left off, dunking this over the top of ExoTiiK. Now dralii on the back wall. Chronic not going to be allowed to get the double. And Firstkiller turning and diving as well. So it's going to be late recovery for the GenG squad. But a risk they felt was worth taking. They knew the counterattack was not going to be coming quickly off of an awkward ball for BDS. Firstkiller able to dodge that demo. Now Chronic has just dralii, but not going to be an easy time beating him, especially because he's running out of boost here. So dralii able to lay and wait. Looking for a crazy angle. ExoTiiK just dove. I think Firstkiller didn't expect it because he did not seem to panic here on the goal line. dralii plays it around Firstkiller, and ExoTiiK just forces this one through. Doesn't need any flip. Jumps up, covers the ball, and slams it in. dralii says the open nets. But it's going to be BDS who take down GenG in a sweep. ExoTiiK still in the... Oh. GG's. Thanks for playing. Oh, didn't get it off in time. GG.